There's no denying it, this might just be the worst month of 2025. In just a few days, we've lost not only a baseball icon, but a true legend, Ryne Sandberg. And with him, a part of our childhood, our fandom, our history, is gone. This wasn't just a player. When Ryne stepped onto the field, the other team's legs would literally tremble, and off the field. Women adored him so much that girls in his hometown would faint at the very sight of him. Yes, he was that legendary. Now, with his sudden passing, the entire world feels heavy. People are heartbroken, angry, in shock. And they all want to do one thing: attend his funeral and pay their respects to the man who gave us unforgettable memories. But before we go further, before we dive into who Ryne really was, where his journey began, why he left the game early, and what exactly caused his death, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Because legends deserve more than silence, they deserve to be remembered. Ryne Sandberg wasn't just a baseball player, he was a force of nature, a 10-time All-Star, an MVP, a Hall of Famer. He redefined what it meant to be a second baseman. In Major League Baseball, opponents feared his power. Fans worshipped his loyalty and his humility. It's made him even greater. He carried an aura on the field and a kindness off it. Whether it was his precise double plays or clutch home runs, Ryne played with fierce devotion and unshakable integrity. He wasn't born into fame. He built it, brick by brick, game by game. Ryne Sandberg's story began in Spokane, Washington, a small town with big dreams. Drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies, he was overlooked, till destiny brought him to the Chicago Cubs, and that's where the magic happened. He didn't just play in Wrigley Field, he owned it. Fans called him Ryno, and kids lined up outside stadiums just to get a glimpse of their hero. In 1984, played what's now known as the Sandberg game, launching 2 unforgettable homers off Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter. From that day forward, he wasn't just part of the team, he was the heart of it. But just as his career was soaring, Ryne shocked everyone. In 1994, he retired suddenly. Not because of age or injury, but because he felt the game was changing. He couldn't play without giving it 100%. So rather than play half-heartedly, he stepped away. Most players cling to their careers, Ryne. He walked away with dignity and honor. He did return for one final run in 1996, just to give fans one last chapter of the story they weren't ready to end. So what took down this giant of a man? Prostate cancer. A battle he fought privately, silently, bravely. He was diagnosed in 2023 and underwent aggressive treatment. But like many heroes, he kept his struggle to himself, never complaining, never seeking pity. He passed away on July 28, 2025, at the age of 65, surrounded by his loved ones. It was a quiet farewell, but the world felt the thunder when the news broke. Social media went dark with grief. Former teammates, sports legends, even rival fans posted their tributes. The Chicago Cubs issued a statement that said it all. "You gave us greatness. Never forget you." At Wrigley Field, fans gathered, crying, hugging, leaving flowers, hats, and jerseys in tribute. News anchors choked up on live TV. It wasn't just a loss for baseball, it was a loss for humanity. Ryne Sandberg's funeral will be held in Chicago in the coming days. And from what we know, will be open to fans, because Ryne belonged. To them, to us, thousands are expected to attend. Former players, celebrities, and everyday people who grew up idolizing him. The Cubs will host a memorial game. Flags will fly half-staff. His number 23 jersey will hang above home plate. And for one last time, Wrigley Field will go silent. In his honor, why does this death hurt so deeply? Because Ryne Sandberg wasn't just an athlete. He was a reminder that you can rise from nowhere, stay humble, and still become a legend. He was the calm storm, the silent leader, the everyday man, who became every child's hero, and now he's gone. But one thing is certain, his legacy will never die. Of course, here's your extended 900-word conclusion to follow your tribute video for Ryne Sandberg. This version adds depth, reflection, and more emotional weight to help close the piece powerfully and meaningfully. If Ryne Sandberg meant something to you, if you ever stood in the bleachers of Wrigley Field, heart pounding, hoping for one more Sandberg home run, if you ever mimicked his stance in the backyard with a cracked bat and a glove too big for your hand, then you already know this isn't just the end of a chapter. This is the end of an era. Leave a comment below and share your favorite Ryne Sandberg moment. Whether it was the '84 Sandberg game, his gold glove magic at second base, or the quiet grace he carried through life, your story matters, because his story belongs to all of us. Maybe you never saw him play live. Maybe you grew up watching his highlights on YouTube, learning what greatness looked like before you even understood the rules of the game. That's what makes Ryne Sandberg timeless. He transcended generations. When an athlete dies, especially one of Ryne's stature, the grief can feel surprisingly personal. Why? Because legends like Ryne aren't just remembered for their stats, they're remembered for the way they made us feel. Safe, inspired, proud, hopeful, like no matter how hard life got, someone out there was still playing the game the right way. He represented discipline in an age of shortcuts, humility in a world obsessed with ego, and consistency in a sport built on failure. He wasn't flashy. He didn't chase fame. He just played the game the right way. And now, presence is gone. But though he's no longer with us physically, Ryne Sandberg's legacy is not buried with him. It lives on in the kid in the Little League who insists on wearing #23.thefather, teaching his son how to turn a double play with patience and precision. The coaches who use Ryne's story to show that hard work and humility never go out of style. He wasn't loud. He wasn't controversial. But he endured. In a time when the spotlight burned too hot and too fast, Ryne was the slow flame that kept burning year after year, season after season. That's not just a legacy. That's a lesson. In the coming days, the baseball world will mourn together. Wrigley Field, the cathedral, where he made magic, will fall silent. The stadium that once echoed with chants of Ryno will now sit in solemn stillness, not in defeat, but in remembrance. A place of celebration will become, for a moment, a sacred space for grief. The flags around the stadium will lower to half-staff, fluttering quietly in the Chicago wind. Each gust will feel like a whisper from the past, a reminder of games played, victories earned, and memories that will never fade. Former teammates will gather, some with words, others with only tears. Grown men who once shared locker rooms, dugouts, and championships with Ryne Sandberg will stand side by side, humbled by the weight of this loss. They'll share stories, some funny, some sacred, about the man who made them believe in hard work, humility, and grace under pressure. Broadcasters will replay his greatest moments, the game-winning hits, the diving stops at second base, the quiet fist pumps after clutch plays. But more than just replays of stats or slow-motion swings, they'll replay what made Ryne unforgettable: his presence. That calm, focused expression, that never too high, never too low mindset. That quiet fire in his eyes. Sports writers will publish heartfelt columns. Talk shows will dedicate entire segments. The MLB Network will run a tribute special. Social media will trend with his name. From Chicago to Cooperstown, from Tokyo to Toronto, tributes will pour in from every corner of the globe. But here's the truth. The most meaningful tribute won't come from headlines. It won't come from sports networks or Hall of Fame speeches. It will come from you, from the fans. From the people who grew up watching him turn double plays like poetry. From the ones who sat on rooftops just to catch a glimpse. From the kids who hung posters of him in their bedrooms, dreaming they might one day be just like Ryno. From every man who taught his son to play second base, not just with skill, but with class, because that's how Ryne Sandberg did it. From the women who respected his quiet strength, his humility and fame, and his dedication to the game, not to be flashy, but to be worthy. From the grandfathers who still talk about the 1984 season as if it happened yesterday. The grandsons who listened wide-eyed to tales of a time when baseball felt pure. From every person who found joy, courage, and inspiration in the way Ryne Sandberg carried himself on and off the field. That's where his true tribute will live. Not in bronze, not in banners, but in hearts. Because Ryne Sandberg wasn't just admired, he was loved. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He wasn't the flashiest. That was the point. He didn't have to tell you he was great. He showed you. Every time he took the field with that quiet focus. Every time he ran out a ground ball, no matter the score. Every time he signed a baseball for a kid long after the game had ended. Ryne didn't just play the game, he respected it, and in doing so, he earned the respect of millions. Now, as we say goodbye, we realize something painful but true. You never really know how much someone means to you until they're gone. The coming weeks will be filled with moments meant to honor him. Jerseys will be worn. Stories will be told. Tears will fall. And still it won't feel like enough. Because how do you say goodbye to a player who felt like family? How do you mourn someone who never asked for attention but always deserved it? You do it by living what he taught you. You hustle a little harder. You play fairer. You keep your head down and your heart full. You lead by example, not by volume. You treat people with respect, whether the cameras are rolling or not. That's how Ryne Sandberg lived. That's the legacy we must carry forward. So, wherever you are right now, whether you're in Chicago or across the world, whether you saw him play in person or only watched his highlights, know this. You were part of his story. And now, you're part of his tribute. So speak up. Write your memory in the comments. Say his name. Share this video. Let your voice be one of many one's small echo in a choir of millions, honoring a man who deserved it all, but never asked for anything. This isn't just about baseball. This is about gratitude for a man who gave us his prime, his passion, and his heart. So thank you, Ryne Sandberg, for the class, for the clutch plays, for being a legend we could look up to, not just as a player, but as a person. As the world bows its head in mourning, we raise our hands in respect. We offer not just our grief, but our deepest thanks. And we promise to keep telling your story. Long after the lights at Wrigley go out, Ryne Sandberg, you weren't just part of baseball. Yeah, you were its soul. Rest in peace, Ryno. Your greatness was quiet, but your impact roars. You were gone, but your legacy, it will never die. So here's our final tribute to the man who made baseball beautiful. To the player who made second base sacred. To the human being who showed us that greatness doesn't always roar, it often walks quietly, glove in hand, ready for the next inning. We salute you. Go ahead and rest now, Ryno. The game you loved is still being played, and your fingerprints are all over it. Your highlight reels won't fade. Your jersey won't be forgotten. Your values, they're still needed now more than ever. As long as baseball exists, your spirit will live in the dirt, the dugouts, the roar of the crowd, the crack of the bat. As long as people still believe in honor, loyalty, and doing things the right way, you live on. If Ryne Sandberg touched your life in any way, if his story ever helped you through a hard time, inspired you to keep pushing, or simply gave you something to believe in during a summer afternoon, then help us carry his legacy forward. Comment below with your personal story. Like this video. If you've ever been moved by his journey, subscribe to this channel so we can continue honoring the lives of legends who shaped us. Share this tribute with someone who needs to remember that real heroes still exist, because the world moves fast, memories fade, new names rise. But some stories are too powerful to be forgotten. Ryne Sandberg's is one of them. This isn't just about sports. This is about life, about how to show up every day with humility, how to lead without yelling, how to be great without ever acting like you're better than anyone. That was Ryne Sandberg. That's the man we're saying goodbye to. It's the man whose absence leaves a hole in our hearts today. Rest in peace, Ryno. You didn't just play the game, you changed it. And we'll never forget you.